are going to be speaking today on the topics of tech skills, on how to decode tech skills, how to transfer skills from another career to tech if you want to, join the tech world, and how to transfer your skills from another background, and how to look at other skills and other job titles in tech and see if you can fit yourself into that. Basically, that's what we're discussing today. And back to you, Ms. Tammy.
So thank you so much, Ms. Toots and Vivek and C2M. Is Kristen, right? So thank you so much for joining us. Today we are going to be discussing about tech skill set decoded. I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is Temi Akinwumi. I go by Prof. Temi. I've been in tech for over 26 years, pretty much doing tech since I remember, even right from high school, very strong in STEM, love STEM, even though I wanted to be a doctor, but I ended up being an engineer, which is perfect for me, and I really appreciate that opportunity. I have bachelor's in computer science from UDC in Washington, master's in software engineering, and also master's in cybersecurity from University of Maryland. And right now I'm working on my PhD. I've supported a lot of Fortune 500 companies, supported the Pentagon for more than 15 years and so many other projects. And I have had my company now for 16 years. My major goal is to empower the community and to give back. And right now I've mentored over 1,000 plus engineers, and they are doing very well in the industry. So I always love to give back and to support the community. I've noticed in the community that we have issues. We have a big, huge gap, especially, now I'm glad they're talking about diversity and inclusion, because in those days, it's either I'm the only woman of color or the only woman, period. And in this project, on these big projects for big companies I work for, that I don't even have to mention their names here. And most of the time I face a lot of discriminations, but I don't look at that. I just move forward. And I always want to encourage others to do the same, because you just have to keep moving. There's a lot of things going on in the community, and even much more with this pandemic, but we have to move past that pandemic. So people are depressed, people are frustrated and all of that now, but there's a lot of opportunity with this as well. So I want people to look past this situation and look into ways in which you can get yourself started in tech. There's tons of money you can make in tech, a lot. In those days, we don't have no mentor, even though we went through all those, background and strong technical backgrounds. Without a mentor, it was difficult to get started in the first place. But we luckily were able to make it through. I don't want anyone to go through the same rigorous steps that I have to take, and the same kind of pain that we have to go through. It can be easier. So that's why you see me out here always being like an evangelist for tech and for STEM, to see how we can bring people back, people of color and people of diversity, pretty much back into tech. If you look under my profile, you will see tons of awards and honors that I've received from US, Congress, Senate, United Nations, and all of that for giving back to the community. It's beyond that. We need to do more. So I'm always looking out for people that we can collaborate to help the youth and also the kids too. And this club is called Tech Empower House. There's another club I started that is called Youth Empowerment Club, because I'm very huge with STEM clubs as well. If you look under my link tree, you will notice a lot of activities on STEM clubs, as well as for the kids K through 12, as well as activity for youths, for training them in tech and getting them into the job market. Can you believe the testimony? There's a young lady, no background in tech. Her first job she made was $150. That was $150,000 per year. That was just last week. Miss Toots here, Miss Toots, the moderator, I mentor her under my tutelage for like 5 years. She's making tons of money now. But what am I saying is that look beyond what you see. There's so much in the market. There's so much opportunity in the market. And we are here to guide you and to make sure that you can easily get in. So I really appreciate all my moderators and the new people that are going to be joining us as we lead you through. So today we're going to be discussing about hard skills that you need to know and soft skills as well. Soft skills are very important. Before I get into that, I've done a quick background introduction. I would like for my moderators, Ms. Tut, Vivek, and C2M to please introduce themselves as we get started on the topics. Ms. Tut, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tutu. As Ms. Tammy mentioned, I am a mentee under Ms. Tammy, and I've been mentoring under Ms. Tammy now for many years now, over 5 years, and I'm still even mentoring with her even throughout my cybersecurity career. So my background is in public health, and I have a master's in public health. The reason why I came into cybersecurity was because I couldn't find a job, not even research, not even as a research assistant, not even a free internship job in the public health. It was very difficult for me to find. I found something a little bit enough to like a capstone to graduate and get my master's in public health. However, to get a career kickoff and get a high earning income in public health was extremely difficult. I didn't have any offers, multiple interviews. Some I didn't even get any interviews. I had connections with people that were working and still didn't get any offers in public health. And then also I have student loans. So I realized I was in a wrong field. I met Miss Tammy and I was skeptical, but I knew I had to take the chance because what did I have to lose? I knew I needed to make a change into tech. I knew that tech is a lucrative field. It's a recession-proof field. I just wasn't sure which part of technology to go into. And Miss Tammy guided me. She guided me. She really basically walked me into and let me know which positions I'll be qualified for and which skills I had and which field I had to go into in technology. And this is why mentoring is very important in cybersecurity, in technology, in project management, anything that you're doing, especially if you're making a career change, you have to have if you're transitioning from a totally different background, you need to have a mentor. You need to have a mentor because you didn't study this in school, right? And you didn't have an internship, right? So you need to have a mentor to walk you into how to change your career into a technology field. And that's, Miss Tammy really changed my life. And as soon as I finished her class, without even taking certification exams, I was offered a job, $60 an hour. Okay, I was offered a job, $60 an hour, and I was also thereafter I was able to get offers for companies who were able to sponsor me for a security clearance, and I was able to obtain another job offering well over 6 figures, permanent role, full time, not just contract. So I really want to urge you all to pay attention to her flyer and her profile. Make sure you call her, connect with her on LinkedIn. The way she has her name spelled right here is how she has her name spelled on LinkedIn. Take a picture of her flyer and call her and text her and connect with her. She will give you the best advice, even for free, really, for free. And my name is Toots, and I'm done talking. Thank you, Ms. Tammy.
Thank you, Tutu. Vivek, can you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey, folks, this is Vivek. I'm an engineering manager at Facebook. And before Facebook, I spent about 11 years at Amazon. And before that, I was in a consulting company here and there. So the topic of today, which is around tech skill sets decoded, actually got me excited. I'm happy to have a discussion about various skill sets that I feel are essential for you to build, for you to nurture. There's one more thing that folks should actually understand is that some of the skills are easy to build up, and some skills actually take time. You want to build intuition on certain areas, those do take time. So being deliberate and structured about what you want to learn and how you want to learn it and when you want to learn it becomes an interesting conversation. So I'm happy to have that discussion here, and that's exactly pretty motivated and excited to help people with that. Um, if you want to get an entry into Facebook, look at my bio in the bottom. I have like a few instructions as to how you can reach me. And if you're looking for volunteer opportunities to improve your skill sets or resumes, happy to help you with that as well. This is Vivek, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Vivek. I really appreciate you coming. We have Facebook in the house, everyone. Make sure you follow all the moderators and also follow the rooms, because we will bring you insightful programs like this every Fridays and Sundays. So make sure you follow the room so that you are aware when we're coming up with another program. C2M, can you please introduce yourself? Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you, Ms. Temi. Appreciate that. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. My day job, I am a business development and diversity, equity, inclusion lead for a niche staffing firm out of Boston called Hub Technology Group. We specialize in IT and healthcare. But really what I'm passionate about on the app is really connecting with folks, particularly entry-level folks that are looking to get into tech. I think Temi and Tutu have mentioned, their experience, and I think it's just there's a disproportionate opportunity for people of color to get into tech just based on where schools recruit. You can go and get, a degree, but your degree doesn't necessarily prepare you for the job market. So, really rooms like this, networking with folks, trying to get the inside track on, really what companies are looking for are going to be a great differentiator. So appreciate everybody using their most valuable resource, which is their time, to connect with us. And it sounds like we're going to cover hard and soft skills. And don't underestimate soft skills when it comes to IT, because, again, that's another differentiator. If you've got, a resume that looks very similar to someone else, but on that, virtual interview, if they can really see your personality, if they can see your empathy, if they can really tell that an end user would have a good experience with you, that's really a big differentiator. I'm Christopher, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Christopher. I really appreciate you. So even as we get started, I don't know if people are joining us from the audience. Are you trying to introduce yourself? Do you have any inputs? If you can just, okay, go ahead.
Hey, everyone. My name is Sam. Thanks for this group here. And I'm a digital commerce leader in one of the business consulting firms here in the US. I come from a tech background, and post my MBA 10-12 years back, I moved into strategy consulting, management consulting, and the like. So very grounded fundamentals on technology, and I've seen that evolve over the past 15 years, and essentially how things have kind of moved to the clicks over code kind of philosophy by a few of these SaaS, tech powerhouses like Salesforce, so on and so forth. So I think very interesting times, and looking forward to hear and contribute what I understand and know of the tech space. And I think it's really a pretty bright time for the next 5 to 10 years, right, in tech and tech-enabled services, and all these SaaS companies who are kind of, having a stake in the game here. So I'm Sam, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Sam. Really so much appreciate you joining us. Black, do you have a contribution?
How y'all everybody doing today? My name is Black Ice. I am an owner of a streaming company called Say Switch. We plan on developing, reconstructing, and also revolutionizing Black entertainment. We are located in the south of the US of A. Our main focus is to help and educate and grab young Black entrepreneurs, young Black tech people, and also I'm here to gain, understand, realize, and analyze all the information that y'all will give me. I'm also for expansion, international, and also expanding my company. So I'm here to listen in, see what y'all got planned, and also collab. So if y'all want to collab, follow me. We also can talk business through the Clubhouse chat, but I want to make myself known. Thank y'all. I'm Black Ice, and this is my piece.
Thank you so much, Black Eyes. We really appreciate you joining us. And I know more people in the audience will have a contribution, one or two contributions, so get ready. And if you have questions, to get your questions ready. Please ping in people, your friends, family that they need to hear this. Please ping them in. And all shout out to all my students that in the audience. Really appreciate you joining, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's very important to have technical skills. Always, every time you see recruiters, hiring managers, they prefer candidates that can fit right into the job. As soon as you're hired, they prefer you to be able to jump right in on the first day. But we know this is not, most of the time, this is not possible. But it's obtainable if you can work towards it. So we're trying to guide you today. What are the ways in which you can make this work out? Because we want to make sure that you are able to make your companies achieve their goals. They're always looking for people with the right technical skills and experiences. And many technical skills require training and experiences to master them. Even though you are trained at the job, you yeah, you can bring people up. If you see anyone in the audience that they need to be up here, please bring them up. Moderators, bring them up, please. This is not my room, it's our room. The goal is to empower our community. So please, if you have any contribution, please raise your hand. Susie, I see you, Courtney, and all of people that have actually came in before to help us discuss. So please let me know if you want to come up. So thank you for joining. I really so much appreciate you guys. So many technical skills require training and experience to master them. There are hard skills that are taught in classrooms and training programs, and there are soft skills that you already have that you can use at a job. Even after boot camps and training programs, you still need practice, you still need to be hands-on, and you need mentors to guide you to be successful in tech. So we're going to be looking at some skills that are very important. Technical skills are abilities and knowledge you need to perform your specific tasks and to make sure your task is successful. So soft skills, we're going to start off with soft skills because most of us will think, oh, I don't have anything. I'm new. I'm just getting into tech. I don't know what to do. I don't have any skills at all. You have skills. And I don't want to look down on yourself like, oh, I'm new. I'm not technical. You may not be technical because you are a freshman. You are getting into tech freshly, but there are transferable skills that you have. They are soft skills. Most of those skills, they are like self-motivation, like organizational skills, like being a team player. So we'll mention some of those skills, and I want people in the audience to kind of let's discuss how have you used those skills to help your career. If you are organized, self-organization is very important. I will use that as my own example. Many years ago, I was working for a company with supporting some Pentagon staffs, and we were sitting. So the problem is that we don't have a manager on site. So we are two developers and we have to sit with the customer. And the customers don't play. They are very serious and they don't know what they want, but they just give you what they want. So there's no project management for us. We just sit with the customer in their office, in our cubicle, and get the job done. So guess what? The customer will just come over and say, tell me, can you get this done? Put in a sticky note and just put it on my desk. Even though we already have things I'm working on, so which one takes priority? Is it the new one or the old ones? And the customer is always right. Our managers only show up once in a month. So in those cases, I have to be organized. I have to know what to do. The customer is always right. And this is the kind of customer that will fire you if you mess up. She doesn't play. There was an instance when a guy showed up, first day of the job. He was going out to smoke like 10 times. You know what? The customer said, please don't come back tomorrow. So we have to behave, that kind of thing. These are some of the things we've seen at the job. So I have to be very organized, even though I wasn't a manager, I have to manage myself so that, we have to work together, both of us ladies working on that project as a programmer, to know which one is which, because this is a very, very, very important office of Office of Secretary of Defense or something like that, OSD. Very important caliber of people in that office, and we are the only two programmers. So you have to be fast learner. It's not only about the skills that we have to know how to be self-motivated, because nobody's going to come up to do Scrum and to discuss with us in the morning. We have to be able to know. We have to be able to be organized. We have to give report to the customer. We have to be able to get all the codes ready. They need their budget accounts. They need to be able to account their budget and discuss on all of that. We are in hot seats constantly, and we have to be up to it. These are people that works with budgeting. They work with a lot of data. So we are developers, but we have to do both front and back end. So you see, I do a lot of statistical data, a lot of reports, a lot of budgets, contracts, awards, getting all those data. We have to clean the data up, create the report with it. So it's more than what we bargained for. But you have to be organized to do all of those things, you know. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me. You have to be organized to do all of those things. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that it's more than your technical skills. Your soft skills have to come to play. So I've already talked about self-motivation and organizational skill. At the same time, team player, working together with my folks, people, the lady. If we can't work together, we're gonna be in trouble with the customer right there, you know. So we have to be able to partner and passionate about whatever the customer wants. Because if we are just like sitting there relaxed and we don't really care, that there's a problem. We're gonna both get fired, and we have to support ourselves. Peer support, being a team player, working together. So there's a lot of stuff there. So that's just my quick story about my background with you using soft skills. I will stop right there, and I will allow our moderator um, to echo or contribute to that.
Hey, Tammy, this is Chris, and I'm going to need to be offline for a few minutes, so happy to jump in with a quick contribution if that's okay.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Well, thank you. So organizational skills, I would echo, very important. I would say communication skills, especially in IT, right? Because if you're doing help desk work, it's one thing to resolve the ticket. It's another thing to document what you did so you can create a knowledge base. It's another thing to hand off tickets between the tiers. So really just knowing how to concisely communicate is so helpful. And then phone skills, right? Most likely, if you're in an IT role where you're picking up the phone, the end user is not at their best. They're under some level of stress with some level of technology that's failing them. And they probably, have a presentation they need to run. There's something that's bothering them. And, they may not be technical. They may not be able to tell you exactly what it is that they need. So being able to make the person feel at ease and having them really understand that you're going to be able to help them is a really critical skill. And then finally, for more, senior roles, it's about how do you move the organization forward, right? So if you're in an IT leadership role, how do you convince the CFO and the rest of the C-suite, where you need to take the organization, whether you're migrating to cloud? Most of these expenditures are not small, right? So I think in order to be able to get the organization to understand where it needs to be from a technology standpoint, the more effectively you can communicate that, the better. So don't want to belabor the point, but as you can see, there's going to be a ton of soft skills that, again, could be real differentiators once you're able to secure that interview. I'm Chris from Boston, and I'm done speaking. And Tammy, I don't know if Susie has had a chance to introduce herself. Can I pass to Susie for an intro, or
yes,
if you
please.
have another plan, just let us know.
Yes, please, Susie, please introduce yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christine. Susie, please, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Likewise, too, I'm currently working at the same time right now, so apologies. But I work in the talent acquisition field in cybersecurity. So if everyone is or anyone is trying to maybe get connected in that way, I'm just here to help and serve today. That's all. Thank you so much for having me. This is Susie. I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Susie, for always coming here to help. I really appreciate your time. Vivek, do you have any contribution?
Yeah, actually, I was just
So one of the things that I would like to I snooped into the profile of the folks who were there in the audience to see where folks were in their career stages. The tech skills that you would need at the early part of a career stage is different from the kind of skills that you would need to succeed in the tech industry at the later part. Like I think Christopher did talk about the variations, like how you would convince a C-suite versus what's interesting in the early stages of career. So my few quick takeaways, at least for folks, is that when you are in the early stages of your career, don't close any doors and make sure that you are looking to learn, absorb, and acquire as much skills and information as you can. Because I think that the concern or the challenge that you'll have is that you will be expected to transition between different technologies. Like when I started my career, I worked in anything from there was something called Real Basic, which is what Scholastic was using back in those days. And then there was also like Vignette and Broad Vision and whatnot. These are all tools that people don't even hear of unless you are in specific domains and technologies and verticals. So the point is that be open to technologies, be open to acquiring new languages and skills and whatnot at the early part of your career. As you probably near like your 5-year mark or your 6-year mark or something is when you would start trying to focus on becoming like a specialist in one or more of the broad areas. So then is when you'll start thinking like I'm a front-end engineer or a back-end engineer or an ML engineer or whatever makes sense. And then you can also start picking your tech domain, whether you want to be in the cybersecurity space, whether you want to be in the e-com or whatever else, and telecom and whatnot, right? So there are different areas there. So that would be my advice. I'm going to stop here and happy to answer any questions that folks may have. This is Vivek and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Vivek. Yes, Susie, do you have any contribution onto like discussing about soft skills, like transferable skills, or anyone in the audience?
Yeah, this is Susie. I definitely think there's multiple soft skills that can be transitioned into different roles. For example, if you are good at just like communicating with people, that could also be maybe a project lead in an IT project manager role. That could also be transferred over. I did have a quick question. Are we talking about just entry-level roles or just maybe like mid or senior level roles?
Just generally, most of these skills are needed anytime, like your entry level or senior role, you still need certain skills. And if it's possible, if you can give us an example of how you use the skill at the job, just for people to know, to guide them, that would be great as well. Thank you.
Sure, that's a great question. I think the major soft skills would be definitely if you're going to like business analyst or data analyst roles in the tech roles, being detail oriented is very important. Just because you're working with, whether it's with large or small data sets, if you don't have the detail orientation to kind of combine all the sets together, analyze it, it can misconstrue the information at the end, right? So I think that's very important. I think the basic skills are also like having great sense of communication, whether it's written or verbal, and that applies to all roles across any platform as well. And if you enjoy, for example, solving problems, that could either go into a lot of multitude of roles as well. Maybe it's a researcher to find a solution. If you like working with reverse engineering per se or malware, that would be in that area. I feel like a lot of skill sets, like soft skill sets, can be so transferable, but people need to kind of first figure out what kind of like fuels their fire, what is their passion, I think is the most important thing to figure out as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, C, is it C, or do you have any contribution? Can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm a program manager with a project management background. I've been working with tech for, I'd say about 8 years now, almost. And I've been working in tech for the past 2 years. I developed a passion based on the type of projects that I was working on. I was working on a lot of HR tech related projects, and that is what I would say catapulted me into wanting to work in tech. I've been working primarily as a consultant, and I would just say in terms of transferable skills, I know we were just speaking about soft skills. I think like my greatest superpower I think anyone possesses that they can develop and really use it as a value proposition to get into tech is their communication skills. You know, being able to understand a concept or a vision for a product or service, and then being able to communicate that to different types of teams, directly, cross-functionally, tech, non-tech. And I also think like just being motivated, like, you know, being passionate about what you do, having that strong interest. Also being interested in being a learner and flexible on what entry level, you know, you start your journey, whether it is like as an intern or entry level position or maybe just support. And you can do that where you are in your existing organization, or you can seek out new opportunities. What I am hoping to see over the course of the next year is a greater percentage of diversity in terms of the populations at different tech thing organizations. I like to see, you know, a greater percentage of Black, Latino, and other, you know, races that are diverse in that space. I still feel like there's a lot of opportunity, but as much talk as we hear in marketing, I'm not really actually seeing it happen in real time. This is C, and I'm done talking.
Thank you so much, C. Truly, truly appreciate you joining us. That's powerful. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Is it Sam? Sam, do you have any contribution based on your background about technical skills and maybe how you have used that in the industry? Thank you so much.
Sure. So from my end, what I would encourage folks who are new to technology is to probably, you know, look at a couple of areas where, you know, they can kind of, you know, call themselves as specialists, and then, you know, other areas where, you know, where they should be generalists, you know, at least understand, you know, how things work. They might not be the, you know, the experts in that area, but essentially at least they should be able to talk about it confidently to someone who's interviewing, or whether, you know, kind of take it to the next level. But otherwise, they should have like a couple of areas where they are like very, very strong, and they should be able to kind of give anyone and everyone a run for their money in that particular field. So I think if they develop that level of seriousness, that should really help them to kind of, you know, succeed in the tech space.
Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate you. If you're in the audience and you want to echo on any of these topics, or you have any contribution, please feel free to raise your hand. And if you have any question as well, get your questions ready and feel free to raise your hand. Ms. Toots, any contribution to the topic?
Yes, I just want to quickly reset the room, everyone. This evening, we're speaking about tech skills sets decoded. So we're going to be highlighting what technical skills and what soft skills, hard skills are. And we're going to be giving some pointers on how to go about changing and having a career change. So if you want to change your career from any field, okay, and you have a bachelor's degree and you want to change your careers and merge into the technical world, we're highly encouraging people, especially women and people of color, to become well diverse and emerge into the technical world. And we can see now that everything's going technical and digital, and it's a recession-proof economy. It's a recession-proof field, and we wanted to just see how we can help you, guide you from your background and what you can look at, put on your resume and use as skills to give you confidence to, start your career in the technical world. My name is Tutu. Make sure you're following the moderators, and please make sure that you also add your friends into the room. any of your friends who are interested in making a career change into the technical world. Make sure you add them into the room. Please follow the moderators, and feel free to ask us any questions if you're following us. And don't forget to hit that plus sign. My name is Tutu, and I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Tutu. Yeah, Ken is here with us. Ken is always here with us every time. So Ken, we welcome you to join us. Like Ms. Tut said, we're discussing about technical skill set decoded. Right now, we're looking at transferable skills, soft skills that you can use in the industry. If you can discuss with us which area you've used your technical skill. These transferable skills like self-motivation, communication, organizational skill, team player, passion, peer support, conflict resolution, problem solving and communication, customer service, and so on and so forth. I know people have discussed mentioned some of this things, but that's okay. If you can please any of those areas in which you want to discuss and see how you've used that in the industry, that would be really appreciated. You are welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Ms. Tammy. Always a pleasure to be in the room with you. We've done these sessions several times before, transferable skills to tech, and also how to transition into tech, whether it's as a technical expert or business analyst or project manager. So if you follow Ms. Tammy, if you follow the moderators, Ms. Tammy is an established technical and IT skills trainer for over 20, 25 years, 26 years, and has some excellent guidance with regards to getting the certifications, preparing yourself, getting yourself ready, doing resume preparation, interview preparation, and get you in front of the jobs. She's helped several people, including Ms. Tutu here, if she doesn't mind me saying. I'm a project and program management professional and thought leader for over 20 years. I help people transition into project management as well, particularly in tech and business and technology transformation. So follow as well if you like to learn how to do some of those things. Feel free to follow, DM myself, DM Ms. Tammy, Ms. Tutu, and we'll be glad to help. So I'm here to support, offer any insights, or answer any questions people may have, also in support of Tammy as well. So thank you for having me, and look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so the question, we're looking at transferable skills. So if can you, anyone in the audience, maybe we'll come to that because we've done this a lot of time with Ken and all that. Courtney just joined us. Courtney, do you have any input into the topic?
Yeah, I actually forgot what question I had though, but just to introduce myself. So my name is Courtney. I work for a nonprofit organization called Priscolis. Sorry if you hear my daughter in the background. I just got home from my second job, so she's like super excited. But I'm an IT instructor over at Priscolis. I've been in IT for technically about a little over 5 years. But as far as like employment goes and actually working, something that I can put on a resume, over 2 years. I've learned, on my own, started fixing phones and everything. But when you're looking at transferable skills, one thing that we do, we have professional development days where we actually help our learners, learn, we help them know what to put on the resume. When it comes to technical skills, it's, everything that they learn hand-on. Even if they come in and they're just making that change from, let's say, call center customer service to, help desk, or they just want to get into IT. Any projects that you work on, even if it's, in a class setting, anything like that, you can put those down as technical skills. Some of the programs and stuff that you use, like we use Packet Tracer. And I always tell all the learners, hey, make sure you put that down on your resume. especially if you want to go into networking, because you did labs, you learned how to actually create a network on Packet Tracer and everything. So that's some of the technical skills, that advice that I give on technical skills. When it comes to transferable ones, just let them know, like I know I mentioned earlier, communication, right? That's a big skill that I would definitely put down, especially if you do have good written and verbal communication skills. They want to know that, hey, if you are working for us, we want to know, hey, if there's an issue or anything, that you can let us know what's going on in detail. When you're in IT, you have tickets that you have to do. So they want to make sure that, hey, you can note down what all the steps you took to solve a problem, or if there is still an existing problem going on, you can solve it. Like, what all you did. Not only that, but they also want to know if you are, if you like working if you can work in a team setting, as well as individuals. So I usually tell them to put that down, because our course at Frisco's is so fast. I also tell them that tell them to put down that they're a fast learner, because they are learning a lot of stuff in 15 weeks. Instead of, going for like a 2-year degree where you actually have time to soak things in, you don't really have that much time. So if they can get all this stuff down and get certified in that short amount of time, that's a big plus. In my eyes, that's a big plus. And everyone that I interviewed with before I worked there always looked at that as a big thing. It's like, dang, you learned all this stuff in 3 months? Okay, all right, well, let's see what you can do. So hope that helps, but I'm here to answer any questions as well. So
Thank you so much, Courtney. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really difficult to learn a lot of IT, especially for people that are just starting. A lot of IT skills topics in a short while. It's really difficult, but with hands-on projects and teamwork, working together, it's possible. So like today now, we're still going to be looking at some other, IT, like going to cybersecurity. So we're not finishing only with the technical skill. They are transferable skills. We are going to look into technical skills, the differences between different kind of buzzword. Let's say about data engineering and data analysis. It's not the same. So we're going to look into some of those things also. Cloud, which cloud tech is best or better or whatever. We're just going to discuss a couple of those things. We're probably going to have different series of this, because we really want to go dive deeper into those areas. So we'll be getting into that as we go. So thank you so much, Courtney. I so much appreciate your time. And is it Somia? Somia, do you have any contribution? I hope I didn't mispronounce your name. Any contribution or any questions, please?
Hi, yeah, it's Somia. You pronounced it right. So I just wanted to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Somia Srivastava, and I am a recent grad. I graduated May 2020 with an information technology degree, and currently I am an IT analyst for Burlington Stores. But I want to pivot my career towards the security side of IT and eventually move into cloud security. And I'm trying my best. I just passed my AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. And currently I'm studying for my Security Plus. And I just wanted to get any advice or any suggestions on how to get into that field definitively, because since I'm just starting out in my career, I know getting into cloud is very difficult. And yeah, that's my little short introduction and my question. And I've already seen some people here, and I've talked to them before, and they've given me great advice. So yeah.
Just to make a quick comment to Samia. You're right. Cloud is very hard. I do as well have AWS certificate. And yes, it's hard to get into cloud security. they will grill you. They will grill you, and you will get multiple panels of interviews, and you will get grilled. So far, I found that there's a lot of men in cloud engineering, cloud security, as well as far as the interview and process go. That's what I've been noticing, and also like in the work field. However, what I will suggest is that if you can get into cybersecurity with a start, and you can use some of those systems that they have hosted on AWS. Like if some of the systems are hosted on AWS, and you can answer to that. I don't know what systems you have in Burlington that are hosted on AWS, and you can kind of answer to that. You can get into like an entry level, or use that as an entry level way to get into like AWS for like cybersecurity. If it's like a cybersecurity where they'll say AWS knowledge preferred, you know what I mean? You can use that as your leeway, as your guidance. If you can speak on that AWS knowledge, AWS familiarity, and you can talk about AWS GovCloud. I don't know what systems you worked on. Probably not GovCloud. I don't know, because Burlington is a commercial. It's commercial. But if you can talk about that a little bit, then you might be able to just focus on getting into cybersecurity first, and then you want to get like cybersecurity or cloud security after that. Like mid-level, high, because I didn't really see anyone saying, oh, if you have a junior level, 1 year knowledge of AWS, there's a lot that they're requiring. They're requiring you to bring PowerShell, scripting language, and programming languages, and Java and Python. All of those technical skills, they are requiring if you want to go into AWS. So if you're very comfortable with that, and you do know how to do this, the C++, or the scripting and the languaging, and the Python, PowerShell, and Ansible, if you have those skills, or Terraform and things like that, if you have that, you can get in, and they're going to grill you. It's easier to get into cybersecurity. I will not lie to you, especially if you take a certified authorization professional. It's easier that way, because a certified authorization professional, which Ms. Tammy also teaches, so make sure you hit her up and text her, and she teaches remote courses. She's a professor as well at universities. If you take that, it's easier because it's just process. You're talking about processes and compliance. You're talking about federal regulations, and you're just, you're talking about like OMB, FISMA, risk management framework, things like that. That's what you're speaking on. It's not really so technical. Now, they do like that you have technical skills and you have technical background. They might ask you questions about that. I would also suggest you get in Security Plus also. She teaches that as well. Once you get into cybersecurity, then cloud security becomes automatically easier, because a lot of government companies are transitioning their systems onto AWS. Some are even using Azure, but I believe a lot of federal government are transitioning their systems. They're taking their systems off on premise to AWS GovCloud, and that's your way to really get your self familiar with like if you're looking at the system security plan of their application, and that's your way to really learn AWS. Once you get that knowledge, watch a lot of YouTube, and you get your mentoring. That's the way I can suggest, because it's hard. It's hard to get. I don't see. Maybe if you find a position that says cloud security junior level, you may be able to get in that way. But I notice a lot of companies are looking for you to come in a mid-level, because they don't really want to train you that much. They don't really want to teach. They want you to come in with that knowledge. They want you to come in knowing what you're doing, having those skills ready, set, go. Okay. I also want to add to everyone, as we're speaking about soft skills, I'm not really sure where Microsoft Excel falls in. I would say Excel and Word is like kind of like soft skills. Excel seems a little technical, a little bit, because like the cells and the columns, but I still kind of look at it. It may be like a soft skill Don't forget to add that on your CV, your resume, some people call it. Don't forget to add that. That's what you're going to be using mostly in the technology, in the tech area. If you know Visio, don't forget to add that. If you know Jira, I see that Sumaya, you have Jira on your profile. Don't forget to add Jira. Those are not really technical, it's just applications, you know. If you know how to use Microsoft Teams, if you know how to use Slack, put that on your resume, because Slack is how you communicate with your team. If they ask you how are you working in a team environment and, you know, collaboration, now that we're all remote, I always tell them about Slack and Microsoft Teams, because that's how you collaborate with people. You know, that's how you work in, you know, with each other. So don't forget to put those softwares, you know, those are, knowing how to use those software is like a soft skill. And don't forget to add that on your resume. Everyone's not going to be able to do the coding and the, you know, the programming and the scripting, but Slack, Microsoft, even Zoom, you know, even Zoom, because companies are using Zoom for Teams. They're using Zoom for everything. Even interviews are using Zoom or Teams. Add that on your resume. Okay, but that's what I would look at as soft skill. Another thing that I would say it could be like a soft skill, and I just recently learned that, and I'm shocked that I don't even know why. I'm just getting to know that right now. You know how people have GitHub and they use GitHub like a portfolio? If you have projects on GitHub or any kind of like a hack website or something that it's open source to the community, if you have your besides your LinkedIn profile, sometimes people put their portfolios and resume on your LinkedIn profile. It could be a little bit overwhelming, but I've noticed that applications are asking for website. And I'm like, website? What website are they asking for? And then I asked for GitHub next to it. Just recently, I've been noticing people say, I think I saw a girl that transitioned into my cybersecurity, and she said that she has a blog. Okay, and she used that and told her recruiter about that, and recruiters like hearing that she has her own blog. So that's one thing I'm just now learning, that you can even use a blog. If you're a writer, you can use, you know, blogging is like, it could be like a technical skill or a soft skill maybe, you know, and you're writing, you know, things about information security. You add that on your resume or you add that on the application, and they check that out. They want to know what skills you have, especially for those who are like in between jobs, or if you have a huge gap in your employment history. If you put like you're a blogger or you're a tech blogger, you can use that as like freelance or something. At least they know that you're doing something, you know? So, you know, if you have a blog or website, if you do YouTube and you have a vlog, it wouldn't hurt, you know? It doesn't hurt. It can only help. Put that on your resume. And my name is Tutu, and I'm done talking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that useful. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, I think you had a follow-up, so please go ahead. I'll follow after that.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm actually in the process of making that GitHub website and blogging, because I heard the exact same thing. I think it was from one of the Clubhouse rooms, and I decided to do that. And this weekend I was going to sit down and make my website and just basically blog about all the security news that's out there right now and all the breaches that are happening, and just my opinion on it, and also share like resources that I'm using to someone who someone who is getting into cybersecurity at the moment. So yeah, I'm on my way to do that as well. But yeah, thank you so much for all the soft skills and all the other things that you talked about. I'll definitely incorporate that in my journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, great suggestions, Ms. Church. I think that was actually quite exhaustive in certain areas. Thank you for providing all that insights. Very, very helpful. So, Soumya, I looked at your LinkedIn profile, and I also saw I just peeked at your bio here in Clubhouse. A couple of things actually stood out. So, first of all, I think you picked a good spot, like, cybersecurity and security in general. It's an interesting field, and it is something that requires a lot of knowledge and skills, and there are a bunch of tools out there that you may have to learn and master. I think the AWS is a good starting point. You've done that. That's good. One of the things that I would definitely recommend is I think Azure and GCP are also other cloud platforms which are available. So take a look at those. GCP actually has free credits that you can use. And I think if you're a student or recent student, GitHub has a bunch of, there's something called a GitHub pack or something which gives you a whole lot of free access to a lot of things. So see what tools and resources you have available. There's a lot of these that you can play with and work on. Couple of things I wanted to poke on based on what Ms. Tuts was saying is they do expect some kind of scripting knowledge, because a large portion of cybersecurity and penetration testing and things like that, when you do all of these things, you are writing a bunch of scripts, and you are essentially trying to see if the system is vulnerable or see how you can exploit the vulnerability and things like that. And for that, you typically have to write a bunch of scripts in any language. I've seen people use PowerShell. I've seen people use Bash, like plain old Linux command line, or I've seen them use like Python or something else as well. So absolutely something you should consider building your skills on. I don't know what kind of programming background you have, but if you don't have a whole lot of programming background, that's one area to start with. Just have the basic software design or software algorithm elements going. You don't need to do something super complicated and fancy like what software engineers typically end up doing, all this trees, graphs, and whatever else. But you definitely need to know the basics of how like a network topology is structured and how you can probe through a bunch of different things and get to hardware, like do a port scan or whatever else that is required. So you're on the right path. It looks like, based on what I saw so far. Happy to chat more. And this is Vivek, and I'm done speaking.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the suggestions. I will definitely follow through.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you, Vivek, and thank you, Ms. Tutu, for the input. Yes, so that's really good. If you can look in the area of cybersecurity, like it's easier to get in than for AWS. It's good to have AWS actually, but you can use it down the path. So you can, if eventually if you start working on AWS, you can become like an AWS like cloud cybersecurity, that area of security of AWS. That can be a good way to get in. But since you already have Security Plus, you can take the cybersecurity, risk management, compliance, area. And like Vivek mentioned, like testing, pen testing, using scanning the network, all those are part of that module that you can do, like using Nessus to scan the network, topology of the network using Nmap, and using Wireshark to see the traffic and troubleshoot the network and stuff. All these are part of the package for that compliance program. And with that in place, you can easily get into tech with cybersecurity, like Tutu. That's the way Tutu got in, and so many other people here. So if you're interested in such area, you can let me know, and I can guide you along the path of that. So that's very good. That program is called the Cybersecurity CAP. CAP is CAP, stand for Certified Authorization Professional, because with Security Plus only, you can't really get in at all. It's just a foundation, but with the CAP, it's easier to get in and make a lot of money, at least 100K plus per year. So that would be really, really great if you can consider that. You can follow me on LinkedIn or on Instagram, and I can guide you along that path. So thank you for your questions. And I don't know if anyone on the audience have any question. Please raise your hand and I will bring you up. Kunle has just joined us. And I will also allow Kunle to speak. Okay, go ahead.
I want to just give a word of encouragement to Sumaya. The fact that you're already an IT analyst, you already have a leeway in. Like as soon as you do your Security Plus and your CAP courses, you will have your way in so fast because you're familiar with IT already. I came in, I wasn't an IT person when I came in. I didn't know anything about IT or cybersecurity when I came in. I came in from a health background. So you're already, an IT specialist or IT analyst. You have the easier way in now to navigate just by taking those certifications or just by taking those courses. Because again, you already have AWS certifications. You already have, so some jobs don't even require you to have the certification, right? But as long as you just make sure that you are a U.S. citizen, because cybersecurity, one thing we want to say, the caveat with cybersecurity is there is a lot of favor for people who are U.S. citizens, and there's a lot of favor for people who are veterans. Okay, which is why we host these rooms to really kind of like audit you and audit your skills, to really give you an idea of what to do if you are a U.S. citizen and you want to do, and with no criminal background, by the way, because if you have they want to be able to trust you. They want to be able to trust you with information. And the thing with cybersecurity is, yes, you can work remote in some fields, and some some pen testing job might allow you to work remotely 100%. They might require you to travel in maybe once a year to the company and meet clients. But for most of the time, mostly cybersecurity jobs, they don't always allow you to travel all over the world. You can be anywhere in the US because you are privy to information that are either classified, unclassified, or you're privy to someone's information, period. You're privy to a whole network, information, right? So it's good that you're in the IT field already. So your hope is even really easier. It should be really easier for you. So you have great hope right there. I also want to have a question for Mr. Vivek. Can you explain to us why they require so much, I guess, scripting and programming for people trying to get into AWS? I thought the AWS will have like a template of programs and script that you can use on the virtual network or the virtual private network. On the cloud. So I thought there was there'll be templates already available for you, and you wouldn't really need to know how to code or script, right, rather and program. Could you explain to us why they really need that, please?
Sure. I mean, maybe I'm scripting, in my opinion, generally when I say scripting or coding, is essentially just logical arrangement of instructions that the computer can run, and you can get a bunch of things done. So if you are looking to do anything about, say, let's start with creation of your AWS resources, you can go to the user interface and do a point and click and then go set things up. That's actually inherently very slow. You could use AWS CLI, which is the command line interface, to go type something up. And that works. And a bunch of things that you type there are actually essentially scripts. And you can use like a Python program to import your AWS library, and you can run these scripts on your own. Or you can use things like CloudFormation template, which is a YAML file or yet another markup language file. But it's again still a script, because what you're doing is you're creating a resource 1, and then you're creating a variable to store the output of resource 1, and then you're creating a resource 2, and then you're setting something with the original resource 1, you're making the links happen and things like that. So regardless of wherever you are, I mean, the way I think of it, right, is that you are either an application user, doesn't matter what language, domain, technology, or whatnot. Let's assume you are pick something like, real estate, right? Now, if you are using the software product to just enter the deals and manage it and whatnot, you're a consumer of the software, and that's one level. But then if you're the one who's actually setting up of these things and whatnot, if you're loading the data into the system and whatnot, you can type the values in, or you can do something to import the values. And before you import, you'll have multiple scenarios where the data is not clean enough. There is commas missing, or it has like the dollar symbol or things like that, and you may want to eliminate that. So you would have to be writing some amount of pre-processing logic in those cases. In a similar vein, in cloud security, what I have seen is that if you know and if you understand, I would say Python and shell script are the two things that you probably want to pick up. If you know these two, then you would be able to get this thing done. You would be able to do anything. Like one of the examples of what I had been doing was that I had to figure out if, so I made a domain name change, and I used a C name for a particular thing, and I wanted to replace it with an A record. Now my question was to see how long does it take for that to take effect. And in order for me to do that, I needed to do a name server lookup on that particular item, and then just have to go through the process of saying what is the value, what is the IP address behind this, and then keep querying it, and not just query only my local DNS cache, but I also wanted to query from the popular DNS servers like the Quad9 Google's 8888 and so on. So to do that, I can do it as a command line. I can just keep typing these commands and try every few hours or something. But it's much better to write a script which will automatically hold this thing and then notify me when it's done so that I can move on to the next step. So I see all of these scripts and scriptlets as just a mechanism to make your life much simpler. And you would be putting these guardrails in place so that you know that that when your defense security is being tested, you would also know. I want, when people talk about security, right, you're talking about it from two different angles. One is the security defense, which is how do you protect your system and make sure that it is invulnerable, in the sense that you have put in all the things in place so that there is no way for people to access this information or access your network in a bad way. And also to have defenses in place so that when somebody is making an attempt or someone's trying to breach your firewalls, you would know, because you can see port scans happening, you can see pings happening. You must be familiar with what's a honeypot, which is essentially a way to let people go in rather than tell them no right away. You would just take them to make it slower for them to hack or break through the system. That's the defensive side of the story, and there's a lot of stuff there. And a large portion of all of those defense mechanisms are scripts, and they're constantly evolving because you need to evolve against common attack vectors. And the second one is more the offense side of the story, is where we talk about penetration testing or just doing scanning to see how's the system topology looking like and what are the areas of vulnerability. So we want to have both sides of it covered. I don't know which side you'll end up working if you were to join any of these security-based areas. I know the topic is tech skills, but I think Soumya's question was more security related. So happy to chat more about this as well. This is Vivek, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Vivek.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Samaya.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question, Ms. Tuts, because you mentioned that a lot of cybersecurity jobs, they require you to be a U.S. citizen. So the thing with me is I am not a U.S. citizen, but I do have a green card. So do you still think that I will have a difficult time, even though I have a green card, in finding jobs with cybersecurity?
No, it's half and half when you have a green card. So when you have a green card, it's great because you're not going to have a green card forever, right? There are the health sectors in the government, in federal government, who you don't necessarily have to be a U.S. citizen. Some of the contractors may prefer you to be a U.S. citizen, which is why I said half and half. However, it's not required. Now, if you want to work for defense as a defense contractor, yes, you do have to be a U.S. citizen. But there are the health sector is DHHS, right? There's NIH, FDA, there's HRSA, CMS. I'm missing some. There's some that I'm not even mentioning right now. It's off the top of my head. But all of those are under healthcare, right? And those don't always necessarily require you to be a U.S. citizen. It depends on the agency or your contractor who is interviewing you. Now, some contractors want to get more U.S. citizens on their team, maybe. I don't know what the recruiters are looking for. But if you do a great job in the interview, they can still overlook that. Now, if you want to work as a defense contractor, whether it's Coast Guard, DOD, Army, Navy, Marines, wherever, right? Air Force, you do absolutely have to be a U.S. citizen, no ifs, ands, or buts. Because even with those, they require you to have some level of clearance. They might sponsor clearance, right? But they still want you to be a U.S. citizen with hopes that if they do need to upgrade you to a clearance, right? The only way for them to upgrade you, the only way they can upgrade you to a secret clearance or top secret clearance is if you are a U.S. citizen. Because think about your soldiers, right? Your soldiers before they get deployed. I think even the soldiers have clearance. I don't know what type of clearance they have, but they're vetted. Okay, they're vetted. They check everything. They comb through their backgrounds very thoroughly, right? So if you want to work as a civilian as well, as a defense contractor, yes, you also have to be a U.S. citizen. But that's why I said it's half and half, right? Because you don't have to work for defense. You can work for DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services. If they tell you that their end client is FDA or, NIH or, like CMS, you might not need to be, okay? Just, make sure you ask. They do ask. That's one of the questions that the recruiters will ask. What is your work authorization status? And if they send you the job description and it doesn't state that you have to be a U.S. citizen, then go for it. Okay, go for it. And, when they ask you, just tell them. Hopefully, you'll become a U.S. citizen very soon because that also opened up more opportunities for you in information security. But no, it's not like there's no hope lost for you, right?
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just to echo that, you don't have to be a citizen to work in cybersecurity. There are other areas of cybersecurity that you can look into. It can be the lab area, which is the CISA Plus, where you can use all labs, all hands-on work as a SOC analyst. And you can focus on manufacturing companies or private companies. It doesn't have to be the government, even though the government is a big portion of cybersecurity jobs, but you have private sectors. You have you have banks and all of that. So you can look into those areas as well. So good luck on your endeavors. Thank you so much for coming and for your questions. And I hope we're able to answer your question. We really have to get into some other folks. I know their time is precious. We have Kunle here, and we also have Nectar here. So you can connect with any one of us, Somia, if you still have any other question. But we have to go through the people that are waiting to discuss. We really appreciate their time. Kunle, the floor is yours. Can you please introduce yourself and contribute to what we're discussing? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Is myself and then just stay in the room to see what aspect I can contribute because I think I joined the conversation late. So I'm a site reliability engineer at Google, and I'm usually on Clubhouse trying to talk to folks that are trying to get into tech. Mostly with most of the folks that are on stage now. So I'll be happy to answer any question or to be able to, have conversation with anyone who is interested in the role, the company that I currently work for. So I'm done speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunle. And I think we just go through everyone on the audience first and see, then we can come back and echo on any other question. Ahmed, do you have any question, any contribution? We can hear you, Ahmed. Are you saying something? Maybe we'll come back to Ahmed because we can't really hear you at all. And Nectar, welcome, Nectar. Do you have any contribution?
Hi, thanks a lot, Temi, for having this room, and thanks a lot, everyone, for coming and listening to us today. Myself, Nikita, and I'm the founder of FanPath, currently helping the job seekers and the candidates to provide the right guidance. So I just want to kind of help here or kind of help listeners if they have anything to add in here so that I can help the job seekers. In terms of the tech skills, I can just say that you need to be sure in terms of the roles you are targeting, and based on that, you need to work on your profile, especially resume and LinkedIn. So that is where you can work, and that is where you can add your skills in your profile. This is Nikita Andon speaking.
Thank you, Nikita. Ahmed, are you ready for us now? We're still having the same issue. We can't hear you for some reason. Okay. C, do you have any contribution?
Yes, I just want to ask Kunle, how can I locate him on LinkedIn? I've looked him up by his name, but I'm not able to locate his profile.
My full name on LinkedIn should be Adekunle Adeyemo. The link is on my LinkedIn profile. Link is on my Clubhouse profile. Or if you give me your full name, I can try to send you a request on LinkedIn.
Thank you. This is C, and I'm done talking.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. I mean, go ahead. I mean, we can hear you now. Finally.
Yeah, I apologize. I had my AirPod. But I just want to make a contribution to a team. Somaya was talking. I just checked her profile. Since she has a cloud practitioner, if she gets her solution architecture Amazon AWS, she doesn't have to be worried about job because she can get a job anywhere in America with that certification. As long as I think the owner MS, I don't know your name is. I apologize. She said that as long as you have a security clause, you can get a job in America with the cloud practitioner and also AWS solution architecture. So I highly recommend that you should go after your solution architecture certification. Thanks so much. I apologize for delay.
Thank you, Ahmed. We really appreciate your contribution. Is it Arlene? Arlene, do you have any contribution? Introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, thank you. So my name's Aline, and I actually have a contribution. I broke into tech here in corporate America without a college degree as a woman and as a Hispanic woman. So there were a lot of things against me, and I want to share some tips about that. And Courtney and C and I connected in a room before on tips for people. So some of this you may have already heard, but I believe it's important to apply strategy to your interviewing process. Some of you already have access to some key systems that are utilized across your IT departments. You can maximize those systems and be strategic when you interview. And a couple examples of that, let's say you're looking for an analyst role. You can go ahead and do an analysis of the systems that you use. Do you use your CRM? Do you use your HRIS? Do you use your ERP? Do you use any sort of system, help desk ticket as well? If you do, jot down the as-is process via diagramming on how it works currently, then do a to-be process on how you think it should work, and then do some surveys in your department. And of course, this is all for internal applications because you're probably dealing with proprietary information, and you're also probably dealing with some security limitations on some of the data that you can document, so be mindful of that. But when you go to an interview, you're going to show up with those as is and the to be documents, but also you're going to take a step further. You want to document some quantitative feedback on the skills that you're bringing to the table. And by quantitative feedback, I mean, you need to ask the users in your department, if we automated this process, how much time would you save? If we did process improvement, how much time would you save? Ask your manager, if IT automated this process for you, roughly how much money could our department save? And when you go to the interview, you have this documented in a deck, and you're kind of building your own portfolio, if you will, because some of you don't want to go into like UI, UX. You want to go into an analyst position, or you want to go into information security, which has been heavily covered already. So make sure you're marketing yourself and not just showing up saying, yeah, you know, I have all the skills that you want. No, give them the exact example of what those skills look like so that they're not just hearing another applicant, they're seeing. And it's an example relevant to your organization. You're already showing up solving a problem. This worked for me when I broke into tech, and I supported, and I apologize, my voice is broken. I had like 10 plus hours of presentations this week at work, so it's in and out. But I'm passionate about giving tips in these rooms. So show up to the interviews with something to present. And I did this, and I supported one of the largest credit unions in California, went from call center to technology, and pretty much, you know, that was my entry, and that's all I needed here in the US to make it. Someone touched on green card. I did this on a green card before I was a citizen. So just so you know, and although I wasn't in information security directly, we did have to research data breaches before we engaged our security partners, because I supported online platforms and mobile platforms for a financial institution. So there is possibilities, but as several mentioned, it all depends on the organization. that's one tip. The second tip I want to give is something I made a mistake early on in my career: intentional networking. Many of you are jumping from rooms to rooms on this platform. Please don't do that. Take a minute after you're jumping and after you're following people. Go to their LinkedIn profile, send a personalized invite, start building that network and that connection, because that makes all of the difference. You never know which one person is going to be able to open the door for you. And even don't just look at the moderators and the people, with heavy follow count. Make sure you're looking at your peers as well, because peer-on-peer recommendations open the door too. If someone's kicking butt in a certain field and that person recommends someone, absolutely that manager is going to take that person's recommendation in mind. So be intentional about your network, increase it on LinkedIn. Even take it a step further. This is something I'm uncomfortable with and I'm breaking through because I'm looking for a leadership role now. But send virtual coffee break invites. Say, hey, I really appreciated X, Y, and Z. I would love to just chat with you to get to know you a little bit more. Start showing who you are. But when you're doing this too, make sure that your profile on LinkedIn is up to date. Specifically mention, what are you looking for? I recently also updated my bio here on Clubhouse. If you click on my bio, you're going to see that I'm specifically saying now, hey, I'm looking for a leadership role. If you're interested, reach out to me this way. Make it known what you're looking for, so that way you're almost in a way indirectly manifesting it as well. This is Aline, and that's what I had to contribute. I'm complete. Thank you.
So, Aileen, I have to agree with both points that you said, and the second one is something that I'm working on as well, because I'm not that much of an outgoing person, but networking is one that I say is the biggest thing I've met since I've been at the Oregon for Scholars. Since I've been there, I've met with people from Google, from Microsoft, and all that stuff. And it's just like I had to force myself to get in front of their face and talk to them. To your first point, this is one thing that I always tell my learners. Even though I'm an IT instructor, I still help them with everything across the board. Whatever helped me get into, IT, I tell them when they're interviewed, it's not so much just what you put on the resume, because let's be honest, a lot of people, when they're hiring, they glance at your resume, right? They don't do a full look at your resume. They wait till you get in, till they interview you, right? They look at it and say, okay, you know what, this is a good candidate. Let's go ahead and interview this person, set up a time, right? The rest of the stuff, what your soft skills, everything like that comes out in the interview. So I always tell them, when you go to interview, you got to go in with the mindset that nobody else can do this job better than you can. You are the person for the job. If I go in and it's a help desk tier 2 role, hey, look, I already know how to, use Active Directory. I already know what to do with this problem and all that stuff, right? I know how to troubleshoot, and I got, good customer service and everything. I can get everything done and be able to calm the customer down, the user down, and so forth. Whatever it is, right? You have to go in with that mindset that, hey, you know what? I'm the person that you need. I'm there. I'm right here. You don't have to look at nobody else. I'm the person that you need. So go ahead and hire me right now. But that's what I always tell. That's what I tell my learners all the time.
Courtney, I'm just going to piggy off of that, what you just said too. Absolutely agree. But when I was listening in before deciding to join in, because again of my voice, so my apologies, you said something about help desk. I'm going to circle back to this comment. Many of you might transition into a help desk position. That is an incredibly visible position. Maximize that exposure, because I can't tell you how many times I've been called for outages when I was supporting the financial institution for outages, and I would just hear okay, there's an outage. Okay, but what else are you sharing with me? How many are impacted? What's the impact to the business? Is it all users? What's the error message? At what point? If you get good of documenting those things for the other businesses, people notice that. I saw firsthand, I can't quote more than 3. I know for sure 3 right now as I'm thinking of their names. but there were probably more that were recruited from the help desk to analyst and senior analyst positions across the IT division, just in that one organization that I'm speaking of. So make yourself known, give yourself a name in that help desk entry level position. There's nothing wrong with that. We all come from different levels of life. I'm proud to say I was booted off the call center and into tech. Like, that's something that gives me an edge. I understand businesses in a different level. I understand business process. I understand impact. I understand SLAs. You do too, in the different lives, in the different paths that you have. So when you're in that position, maximize it, document all those things that you think people need, and make yourself known for being that A+ help desk person and saying, wow, that person didn't just report an outage, that person reported the impact, the risks, the issues, how many people were impacted, who the point of contact is, what the steps are to reproduce, because I guarantee you a lot of those big outages that you're reporting on are being viewed by up to CEO level. I've had to submit impact levels up to a CEO level. And if your name's associated with that or in an email thread, people remember that. So brand yourself for that caring, like what it is that you care for and why it is you're breaking into tech. For me, I'm a frontline advocate. And you hear it in my passion, in my voice. I'm tired of companies just, like implementing quote unquote enhancements and thinking that they're solving issues for their frontline people when they're not. That's how I brand myself, because I come into different divisions and I can showcase how it's not working and how it's not going to work and how it's going to actually create employee disengagement or lack of motivation. Find your why and then utilize that why as fuel to brand yourself. And you will build networks. You just have to believe in yourself. I know Courtney mentioned this and several others. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you bring to the table. Have confidence in that. But very, very important, tech is not all that fun at times. I've had to be up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning and then still show up at my regular time after an outage. So make sure your heart is in it for the right reason, because if not, burnout is very possible in a tech role. So thanks for that contribution, Courtney. And I just had to tie it into that help desk example you brought into. This is Aline and I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I mean, this is wonderful. Thank you all so much, all the moderators, for your input. Wow, this room is on fire right now. I'm so grateful for you all coming to join us. This is great. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. And any other contribution from the moderators and people in the audience? You have any questions, any contribution? Please feel free to raise your hand and come up here.
Hey, Tammy, I wanted to do a quick +1 to Eileen's comments, if I could, and please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. I think my Boston accent is going to get the worst of me here, but Tammy, let me know if I can contribute, or if someone else is ahead of me in queue. I'm happy to wait.
Oh, please go ahead anytime. Contribute, Kristen. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say +1, her comments were so on point. And, she gave you so many kind of tips. So one, she said she recently updated her profile. So if you're sitting in the audience right now with an empty profile, like your profile is a living thing. You can update it anytime. It's not like something where you've got to literally go somewhere else. If you're in front of your phone, put something in your profile and then just keep updating it, right? And you may want to save it just based on the fact that sometimes profiles go away. But pretty much, if you're not speaking, you can be reading through profiles. That's what we do when we're up on stage if we're not multitasking. So, your profile is your real estate on the hottest Apple app that's out there, right? So you got to really use that to your advantage. And then two, I just wanted to speak about what she was talking about, because no matter how much you might get paid in a career, if your heart's not in it, it's not going to be enough money and it's not going to keep you engaged and you're not going to progress in your career. So I think if you're really looking at, what are the pros and cons of IT, you constantly have to be learning. There's no certification that is it, right? Like you never get to a point where you're basically all set. So you have to keep learning. You have to want to keep reading. The time, right? It's not a 9 to 5. So I'm going to have to, my son is trying to get my attention, so I'm going to take care of him. But I'm Kristen Boss and I'm done speaking.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kristen. That's very wonderful. Yeah, so just to do a quick reset, I will encourage everyone in the audience to please follow the moderators. most of them host powerful rooms like this. And this room, we always have this room every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and on Sundays at 4 or 3 p.m. Eastern time. Today we start at 4. Normally we hold it at 3 p.m. So thanks for your time, and make sure you follow the room and follow the moderators. It's really highly important. Today we're discussing about technical skill set, decoded. So we'll be talking so far about transferable skill, technical skills, our experience in the industry, as well as we're looking at some technical skills that are very highly important in the field. And I really want to give a shout out to my students that are all in the audience. Thank you so much for joining, and my mentees. Thank you so much for joining. So I want us to also look in some other areas about some technical subject or topics or roles. We always hear people talking about data engineering and data analysis. Some students get confused, or people get confused, don't know which is which. When I talk about data engineering, what am I talking about? When I talk about data analysis, what am I talking about? Because we're looking at technical skill decoded. So that's the main focus of, one of the main focus of this topic. Data engineering is not data analysis, and it's deeper than the other. So when I'm talking about data, and I really want people also to contribute towards that. Data engineering, I'm looking at SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, going into actually know how to query the system, how to create the object, the tables, the views, and all of that. And then also knowing how to do things on Azure Cloud, because I mean any cloud, but Azure Cloud preferably because it's Microsoft. And then knowing how to kind of move data around, like migration and using data factory and stuff. And also knowing how to do some report on, at the end of the day, you need to know how to do report in the area of Power BI or Tableau. That's what I'm looking at when I talk about data engineering, and some other way that can be data warehousing and all of that. But now when we talk about data analysis is not the same as engineering, because some people know how to do analysis just with Tableau or just with Power BI, but they don't know anything about SQL. They can't really script. They can use Excel, just Excel to work on that. But they are very good with designing those data for report purposes for their boss, for their top level stakeholders. So they can use Python, JavaScript, Tableau, some SQL, and they are good. So I just want us to discuss the area of, because a lot of people here, I've seen that like a couple of weeks ago, people are confused between data engineering and data analysis. I'm discussing about the data engineering class. They are bringing the mindset of a data analysis. I was like, it's not the same thing. People coming to me like, okay, I have data analysis, but I don't know anything about SQL. They only know Excel. Can we just, if that's okay, discuss about data engineering, data analysis? We have to bring this kind of topics up here and discuss it, because a lot of people in the audience, they kind of shy to come up, but they have this issue. So I just want to pick different areas, maybe data engineering now, then we look at the cybersecurity, then we look at project management and stuff like that. I really want us to go a little bit deeper, if it's okay, and discuss what is the difference between these areas and what is the best way and easiest way to get into tech. Any contribution? Anyone want to echo on that? That would be appreciated.
Tammy, this is Aline. I'll quickly chime in, and then my daughter is asking me to go downstairs, so I'll have to excuse myself after this. But I'll give a couple of tips. One, to answer your question, I don't necessarily think you have to just focus on Tableau and Power BI. However, these are incredibly marketable skills to have. So don't be quick to overlook them. You can still, though, maximize your Excel knowledge. The thing, though, with doing that in Excel is you need to keep branding in mind, and you need to make it a dashboard look, not just your old school Excel worksheets. And a few things for you to research on your own. One, how to add color of your own color scheme into Excel, PowerPoint, Word. That, make sure you look up at your color, the company colors that you're currently representing. Many of them have them posted on some sort of marketing page for this specific reason. So use your company color so it stands out. Second, utilize charting and utilize those pre-existing features, but make them nice and make them dashboard worthy. So if you look up dashboard as a quick Google search, you're going to find a lot of examples. Utilize those examples for what you want to deliver in your Excel worksheets. And third, make sure that you're labeling everything correctly. But most importantly, if you're in a data field, you must validate your data, because ultimately it doesn't matter where your data came from. If you're the one reporting on it, and if it's wrong, it's going to reflect on you. So you're in a compromising position in that sense, that it's not always a fair end result, but unfortunately that's the case. So when you're reporting on data, make sure that you're validating that information and you're doing some cross checks with your peers' work, or etc. So hopefully that helps, Temi, with your answer. Yes, go for those tools, but if you can't because your organization doesn't utilize them or what have you, figure out how to make your Excel look dashboard-y with some of those tips. This is Aline. It's been a pleasure sharing this space with all of you, and I wish all of you the best of luck. Truly, I do. Just keep on going. It only takes one person to open the door for you. And to that, I'm going to go take care of my daughter, but I hope everyone has an amazing Sunday. This is Alina, and I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Alina. So much appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again. We're always there on Friday and Sundays, and we would love to have you. Thank you so much, ma'am. See, do you have any inputs?
Yes, I'm going to make it short and sweet because I have to go too. But I just want to add to what Eileen had shared. Yes, strengthening your Excel skills, really understanding how to build dashboards, understanding how to utilize spreadsheets, how to understand how to create formulas. All of those things are very helpful. But one key thing to know, you don't have to, I think everyone has given great advice, but pace yourself. Don't think that you have to do all of these things in order for you to be successful or in order for you to get a job. Pace yourself. Pick maybe one or two skills, focus on those skills, learning the beginner to intermediary, I would say, level of expertise or skills. Try to find something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy learning. Focus on that, and then you can begin to, get into the more complex skills related to data analysis, related to data management, related to building dashboards, spreadsheets, reporting, and all of those things that fall under that umbrella. But don't try to, take it all on at once, because one thing is for certain, you will get burnt out and you'll lose focus, and you just won't be able to become an expert or specialist on one particular skill. This is C, and I hope that anything and everything I've said is helpful. Follow me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm always willing to help. This is C, and I'm done.
Thank you so much, C. Yeah, so that's really, really important that you pace yourself. Don't rush and don't get frustrated, because you can really get frustrated. There's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of technologies, a lot of tools out there that can get overwhelming. You don't need there's something like having too much technological information, and if you're trying to get in and you have all this on your resume, you are like a jack of all trades and a master of nothing. At the end of the day, you don't want to have that. So that's why it's good to focus on certain area. But majorly what I'm trying to do here is to look at because different people in the audience, they have different questions and different things they're trying to achieve. So that's why the other time we look at cybersecurity and we look at project management. Today, I'm trying to discuss about data engineering and see what is needed. You don't really have to focus on data engineering if that's not your area, but it's good to decode those skills and what is needed. So that's majorly what we're trying to do with these rooms, to see, to dissect and actually get in there and see the differences and advise people that might have questions in those areas. So I really appreciate everyone joining. We're going to be rounding up because we plan to finish in the next 14 minutes. So if you have questions in the audience, please raise your hand now so that we can answer your question before we close down the room, because I'm going to kind of close down hand raising very soon. So any other contribution in the anyone contributing in the audience, or oh yeah, someone is raising hand. So any other contribution from our moderators or anybody want to echo on what we just discussed? Any contribution? Okay. Teaser, sorry. Do you have any input or any questions?
Yeah, Teaser, yeah, that's my name. Yeah, I wanted to talk about, you talked about frustration. So that's why I'm here also, because I'm a chartered accountant, CPA, CJ. I'm based in Calgary, Canada. And I've been in the finance profession for many years, over 20 years, and I'm trying to move on to another field because I've seen that the accounting industry is like moving more into technology. So I've sort of focused on the area I want to specialize in, which is information system security and audit, because I've had prior experience in that. I've been an auditor also for two of the big four firms for many years, but more of the conventional auditing. So, but I know that with the whole world economy is moving towards IT, and I've been trying to get into that industry, but I don't know how to get in because I've done the exams, I've done CISA certification, and yeah, using my experience as an auditor and all that to get the certification and get accepted. But to get really into the core profession of how to go about getting a leg into the job industry, it's been a challenge to me. So I was wondering if you have any tips on how to do that. Thank you.
Yeah,
this is my first time here. I don't know whether I have to say I'm done speaking. So should I just stick?
That's okay. You don't have to even say that. Whenever you stop speaking, we know you are done. That's okay. So you're welcome. Thank you so much for that question, actually. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, you know. If you already have that background, the CP and all of that, and the IT audit is one of the best way to get in. It's just that it might take time. Do you have interviews? Do you have a resume online? What's the situation like?
Yeah, I have a resume online, but it's not really streamlined towards IT. It's more, my resume online is more of full cycle accounting audit. Yeah, that's
yes.
What I have online.
So how do you expect recruiters to call you then? Your resume is your selling point. Your resume is the one that's going to sell you. You have to your resume tailored towards what you need, not what you have right now. If you're looking for a job in certain area, okay, the resume should be tailored to what you want. The role that you are going into. And you have to start thinking along that way because you're going to be getting interviews. So you have to logically kind of, tweak your brain to start thinking about, okay, if I want to be an auditor, an IT auditor, then you have to start thinking like an IT auditor. Your resume needs to portray that in a way that, okay, I want to be an IT auditor, and that's the resume. You've done some training. You need to be able to do some project that will pivot you into that career. So you have to showcase those things, because right now, if anybody is going to call you, they'll call you for accounting because that's the resume you have. So your resume needs to be tailored along that path. Even though you might show some things that you've done in the past with your your CPA and accounting, but you should be able to show some things you've done with the IT audit, and let your quote unquote your resume like you have an heading under your name that says IT auditor, something like that, so that people will know when you look at the resume that's what you're looking for. If you don't say it in the resume, if it's not showing in quotes, then they don't know what your resume is about, because now they've seen CPA, they've seen some other things, they're not sure what you're looking for. You don't want to be all over the place. Focus your resume on what you're looking, and then the rest will be history.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that, Temi. Yeah, I quite understand what you're trying to say, but once I focus my resume on that, so when you are called for an interview, how do you defend that? Because that's been the challenge. I mean, how do you get that experience, like the projects you said, projects you have been involved in? How do I, how can I get that kind of experience or exposure? Are there online sites or projects where one can get that practical exposure?
Yeah, with
IT security, what are the tools that one can use to show that you have that technical expertise and all that? Yeah.
Okay, I don't do IT audit. I do cybersecurity, and you can see under my profile. But what I'm saying is that you are trained in that area. You have people that are in the industry. If you see anyone in the industry, can be your mentor to guide you, because right now you are trained, but you don't have any experience and you don't even know how to get started and what to say. Because now if I ask you, tell me about yourself, what have you been doing with IT audits? You don't have anything. So I can't hire you, because unless you want to be an intern or do an internship, which is, that's maybe one way. You may not make a lot of money, but you can get in. But if you really want to know what is in industry, find a mentor. It might be someone that trained you. Find a mentor and let them mentor you so that you see what they're doing hands-on at the job, and they can guide you with that, so that can be like a project or something, so you can use that as a hands-on project to discuss in your interviews, because without that background, it's going to be difficult to get in. And that's also applicable to everyone that's trying to get in. You need to have projects. So that's why you notice in all of my classes, I give them project, hands-on project. It might take 2 months or plus. They have to work together as a group and do that project and deliver. It's a must. They must do the project. So the same thing applicable to you. Ask your mentor, do you have any project I can work on? That's going to be your speaking, your discussion area, because they'll ask you first in the interview, tell me about yourself. What have you been doing with IT audit? If you can't say anything, sorry. So that's a problem. So you must get on projects, something you can practice with, and that will be your discussion point at the interviews.
Okay, thank you so much. One last, so I don't have a mentor. So is this forum like a way of getting mentors? I mean, is there any way one can be linked to mentors here?
Yeah, anywhere on Clubhouse, pretty much there's a lot of mentors everywhere. Check on their bio. I don't do IT audit. If it's area of cybersecurity, data engineering, and every other thing in AWS, wherever, I can help and guide. But that area, I don't do the IT audit. I don't know if anybody here is ready to mentor you. I'm not sure. I don't think anyone here does that as well. But feel free to move around the rooms and ask at least you are trained by someone. Ask them. They will be able to help you. I mean, I'm sure people that person that's trained also got some jobs. Some of them might be your mentor. Just do some research and you'll be able to be okay in those areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. And Ross, do you have any contribution? Is it Rush?
Myself?
No. Yeah, we are done. Thank you so much for coming. Is it Rush? Is it Rush or Ross? I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Yes, my name is Rosh, like Josh with an R.
Okay, yeah, that's. Yeah, please go ahead with your question or contribution.
Sure, I have 2 questions. So if we are out of time, I'll ask the first one, and you can just move me to the audience after. My question is mainly for the software engineers, anybody working in front end. I've been a full-time music professional and musician for about 15 years, but on the side for maybe the last 3 or 4 years, I have been working as a freelance web developer. I'm considering at some point in the future to relocate to New York City from LA, and also to possibly seek a full-time role as a web developer instead of doing freelance stuff. So currently what I've been doing is, I've been doing freelance web development, building websites for clients and stuff. And that's been all going great as a side source of income outside of music. But my main question is, with my time, what would be the best form of leverage that I can use working on stuff? Is it building projects? Is it solving algorithms on LeetCode? I've never, quote unquote, had a real 9-to-5 job. I've always been a freelancer my whole adult life and career, and I'm just curious what I should devote and invest my time into to prepare for a full-time.
Yeah, one of the thank you so much for that question. And like we said before you came in, project will be very, very important. I'm sure you are doing a lot of projects. Put those on your profile. Have a website that can link to those projects. Put them on GitHub. Put a lot of build your portfolio, build a package. So when you go for interviews, all you have to do is just proudly tell them, these are the things I've been doing. It doesn't matter how you did it. If it's full-time, part-time, freelance, it does not matter. You can show and prove to them that this is what I've been doing, and that's all that you need. And put them on your resume as well. Put them on your LinkedIn page. Showcase yourself. Show them this is my product. This is what I've been doing. That can open the door for you anytime and any day because it's your hands work. It's your skill. It's there. Once you have these skills, it's not going anywhere. So any company is willing and will gladly hire you because of the skill set they've seen. And if they actually want to discuss further, you are able to discuss further because you actually did it. So don't be afraid to step out and step into 9 to 5 if you want, because you already have your skills. So just make sure you put them on your portfolio, on GitHub, on LinkedIn, on website, whatever, to showcase it when you have interviews, and you can quickly get a job that area. Hope that answers your question. You're welcome. You have any second question, you said?
I do, but if in the interest of time, if somebody else needs to answer a question, I would be more than happy to go back to the audience.
That's okay. Go ahead and answer your question. I think you are the last person. We can close down in 3 minutes. That's okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. My second question is, I'm based in LA, but I have been strongly considering, relocating to New York. So are there any effective strategies for relocation in terms of like, do you find the job first and then relocate, or do you just relocate and just jump in both feet and do that in terms of what the tech industry is? Most of my freelance career as a musician, I have been able to work 100% remote. So I don't have any barrier of entry in terms of income or anything like that, or lost wages or opportunity costs, because I can, live anywhere on the planet with an internet connection and still work as a musician. But I'm just curious if there are effective strategies in terms of relocation. And if, for example, me living in LA prevents recruiters or the job market from consideration if I want to get a job in New York.
Yeah, I will. There are jobs everywhere, tech job, especially front end programming. I used to be a software engineer for many years. There are jobs everywhere. I will tell you I will advise you not to move first. Wait and look for job in that area. If you're trying to go to New York City, start focusing on New York City. So all your job sites should be searching towards New York City. So when you search for job, make sure it's in New York, and then we continue to search for job in those areas. Eventually the recruiters will call you, and most of them will even offer to pay for relocation. I've seen many companies that pay for relocation, 10,000, 5,000 relocation, and that's it. You don't have to use your money to relocate. So first of all, be looking for a job right now, search for jobs, get your portfolio ready and all that. Look towards New York City, make sure everything's focused towards New York City, and you eventually get a job, move to New York City, and they can offer you to pay for your relocation fee. And that would be great. You mention to them, that's when you discuss your salary, you can mention to them, I'm coming to New York, I live in LA or wherever, I'm looking for relocation. Even if they didn't mention it, even though if they didn't mention it, you can sell it to them and tell them, the only way I can take this job, thank you for the offer, but I'm trying to relocate. Can you provide this relocation fee and stuff? And they might say, yeah, we are. Most of these IT companies are very rich, they have the money, they're able to do it. You have to negotiate. So definitely they can do that, but I will encourage you not to move yet until you are sure and you get the job. Then they will pay for relocation fees, and the rest will be history.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. That's really insightful information. Thank you.
You're welcome, Rush. Really appreciate you. And I really, really want to thank everyone for joining us today. Vivek, C2M, C, Ken, Courtney, Nikta, and all the other moderator that left. Thank you all so much. And people that came with questions, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate your time. We value your time. Thank you for giving back to our community. It's really, really important. this is the best time ever to give back to this community, because people are going through a lot. We just have to feel the pain people are going through. If you have made it in tech, come out here and let's help this community. Let's bring people up. Let's help people to get in. Let's show them the shortcuts that we don't know when we get started. Many years ago, we don't want anyone to go through this pain again. Let them get in fast and easy, and that's my goal. So I thank you all so much for joining. We'll see you all again next week. We'll always here on Fridays and Sundays. So feel free to ping people into these rooms, and make sure you follow the rooms and follow the moderators, so that when we're here, you also will be here with us to discuss. We really appreciate your time, and I really want to thank you all so much. And I wish you all the best. And if you have any other
Tammy, can
closing?
I make a quick announcement before you close down the room?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, this is Chris from Boston. Just wanted to let folks know that I am running a room tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern that is going to be exploring entry-level cyber careers. It's going to be a conversation with M. James Gomez, who's a CISO, who runs a cyber training program. So if folks have bandwidth and they're available, feel free. You can DM me and I'll send you the link. It is scheduled on the calendar. So again, it would be 10 p.m. tonight. If folks want to join, that would be great. This is Chris from Boston. I'm done speaking, and thank you, Tammy, for the time. Really appreciate being part of this room.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you so much. Any other input before we close down? Moderators, thank you all so much. Any other announcements, contribution? Okay, I guess none. So thank you all so much. I wish you all the best. Please stay safe out there and keep loving yourself and your family and the community at large. Thank you, and may God bless you all. Good night and bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. See you all soon.